Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another video. Boozor here. In today's video, we're going to go over the brand new Hydra rotation number 5, and what we should look out for. And I'll offer some ideas on team building and just general tips on how to tackle this rotation. So first of all, let's collect our Hydra chests for this week. How's everyone doing? So I do 1 key hard brutal nightmare. So let's collect. Make sure you guys try to get as many chests as you can every week. As you can see, you get the soul stones, clan XP, and then clan shop gold, which is very important. The gear is also very strong, especially if you plan on doing arena, serious arena, even tag team arena. It's the gear is very important. See, the chests are getting a little bit better in quality. The soul stones are also really important. Alright, we'll have to sort through those later. Alright, so let's jump over to this spreadsheet here. So basically I compiled this kind of like cheat sheet just to help everybody out a little bit. I'm going to move my head here. There you go. So I'm not going to go over everything in too much detail, but so in this rotation we have the head of decay. So this is the cleansing head, very annoying, probably the most annoying head. And then we also have the head of suffering, which is also very annoying. So we have the head of suffering, which is the tanky head. You can kind of ignore this one if you're like trying to do damage. You kind of ignore it until it swallows one of your characters, but basically you want to prevent it from having reflect damage on itself. And it also brings it brings some debuffs against you, I think. It does for sure. So you could bring a cleanse, you could bring some more resistance if you want to stop those debuffs. But generally the head of suffering is like more manageable. The annoying part of it is it does boost the resistance of the whole Hydra team by plus 50. So you do need more accuracy to land your debuffs in this case. So make sure you guys keep that in mind with the head of suffering in the rotation. The next head is the head of blight, which is the poison head. So you guys have to be prepared with block buffs or HP burns. Also, the poisons that get spit out actually do quite a bit of damage. So make sure you guys have some healing or some cleansing for some survivability against the poison head. The last head is the super fun head of mischief. So low survivability head, very fast, very high accuracy. To stop this head, the simplest way is to use block buffs. So if you can place a block buff on it, even though it steals your buffs, it basically won't get the full benefit, especially with the team spread ability that it has. So bring block buffs. Hex allows it to be targetable, so it is useful. But you can see that Mithrala is basically the only viable Hex champion that we have, at least for higher Hydras. Also, building certain champions in resistance also help. You can kind of trick the head of mischief into targeting certain champions if you use blood shield accessories, for example, or if you have champions that self buff. So you can build resistance on those characters so that it baits the mischief into trying to steal the buffs from them, and then the resistance will block the steal. So that's one strategy to deal with the head of mischief. So I mean, generally speaking, because of the head of decay and the poison cloud in the same team, it's always going to be a little bit tricky, because the way the rotation works is the head of decay will always cleanse first, and then the head of blight, the poison cloud, will always come right after. So the key is to that speed off, basically to um, put some kind of decreased speed on the head of decay to slow it down slightly, just so the sequence of placing the sequence of the cleanse and the poison cloud don't happen perfectly in line with each other. So speed down is very important, but speed down generally is very important for Hydra. So that's just something to look out for. Um, Another thing is that we have the magic affinity for the head of decay. So if you guys have like spirit provokers, you might weak hit. So have to be aware of that. We have two force affinities, which make Royal Guard not as effective versus the opening lineup. So things like that to keep in mind. Also, it makes Ugo, which is one of the premium AOE block buff champions, um, not work as well because it has a chance to weak hit. So once Ugo weak hits, she will fail the block buffs, and failing the block buffs means the poison cloud will land, and bad things can happen. So just things to keep in mind. I mean, obviously it's roster dependent how you build your team. I offer some ideas here to build teams with. So these are just some provokers that I went through and saw, and they're kind of ranked in reliability as well as extra utility. So obviously Krisk, very strong, brings a lot of stuff, speed up, attack down, protection. Bivol, pretty consistent. Provoker brings leech, brings heal. Also hits through weak hits, so it works against the head of decay. Seeker is also very, very strong, as well. Brings turn meter and attack up. Husk would be very strong this rotation, just because of the strong or neutral affinity to most of the starting lineup, and also backup provoker for the head of decay. Molly doesn't weak hit and possible 2 turns, 2-turn provoke, very strong. Also has turn meter boost on her passive and a revive, very strong. Skull also has a very interesting kit where he offers attack down, strengthen on himself, so you can build him to soak up the mischief steals. So you build resistance into him, so he soaks up the mischief steal. He also has a solid, consistent provoke, so very strong champion. Um, Versolve also very good. Multiple ways to provoke on his kit. Also brings some protection, good stats, hits hard. Sigmund also very good. Brings some provoke, protection. Um, War Chief, very good provoker. Doesn't bring much else, but he does bring a solid provoker with an A1 and an A2 that provokes. Visix has an AoE provoke. She brings some protection, speed down. She has good base stats as well, so she's free. So always an option if you guys need it. Martyr, counterattack, attack down, defense up, provoke. She won't be able to keep it up by herself, but she can do some provoking. Um, as for block buff champions, also very important since most of these heads require block buffs. So as you can clearly see, 3 of them require block buffs. Ugo, still premium. I would still probably use Ugo, even though we have 2 force heads here. So if Ugo misses the first AoE block buff, then just restart the run. Bishop is also very good here. Strong affinity or neutral to 3 of the heads. Very, very strong. Block buff, accuracy up, I believe. Healing, good base stats. So anything that brings additional utility is very good. Uko is very good. Attack down, revive, block buff, strip, very strong. Kimmy, very good. A little bit squishy, but very strong. You can use her for the lower difficulties. She brings accuracy up, so it really helps with the stats. Speed up, speed down, turn meter. Very solid champion. Lydia brings a single target block buff, which is good because you can target like suffering, stop the reflect damage, or you can place the block buff on the head of the K to stop the poison cloud from landing. There's a lot of things Lydia can do. Um, and yeah, she brings obviously speed up, strengthen, decrease defense, and weaken together in one move. Very strong. Kantra is very interesting. I like Kantra. She brings a lot of fun stuff. It's a bit RNG, but her provoke is very strong as well, and she brings block buffs, decrease speed, decrease accuracy, so that helps with the stats. Yeah, she's just very strong and very good base stats and very hard to kill. Yeah, Rain, free champion, brings a strip and block buffs. Revive. Deliana, free champion, block buffs on a 4-turn cooldown, I believe, so not as good. Also brings leech. Norog, 3-turn cooldown on the AoE block buff, but doesn't bring much else. Some protection on the passive. And then Umbral is kind of like just like the budget AoE block buff. She doesn't really bring much else. But if you have none of these, you nothing. If you have nothing, then Umbral you have to use, unless you use the other strategy, which is basically ignore the block buffs and just go with Drexar, because Drexar's passive will go through the poison cloud. So if they hit Drexar, then they get hit with a HP burn. So that is viable strategy if you don't have any block buffs. So as for HP burn, you can use the HP burn to kind of negate the effects of the poison cloud. So Geomancer's super premium brings a lot, the accuracy down, which helps, as well as AoEs to spread his cruelty blessing very quickly. Also brings damage reduction, insane damage as well. Tamesia can hit through the poison cloud. It's gotta be bugged, but it's kind of weird. But she can hit through it. She brings a ton of damage by herself, so very good for the low end Hydra. So like normal hard, she just does tons of damage. She has low base stats, so she dies kind of easily. So keep that in mind. Tila recently buffed. Insane Hydra champion does a ton of damage. Brings leech. Brings leech, hex, continuous heals. A buff steal. So if buffs do land, she can steal it back with her A1. She brings AoE HP burn. Yeah, she's great. She does a ton of damage in any team that she's in. Venus, very good. Brings a strip, defense down, weaken AoE, as well as HP burn. Very, very strong champion. She's Void. I threw her in here, but she's obviously going to be very good if you have her. So you're going to use her. Tyrant AoE HP burn with some protection and some damage reduction. Very strong champion as well. Drexar, AoE provoke, attack down. And his passive is very useful because it bypasses the poison cloud. And it doesn't require any hits. So he's actually very, very decent, especially in the lower Hydras. So if you guys have him, make sure you guys use him just for like a quick DPS option. And then Drang is kind of like he's like one of the better AoE HP casters, HP burn champions because he doesn't require accuracy. He still needs to hit to place the burn, but he doesn't require accuracy, and he has really strong base stats, so it's pretty easy to keep alive. But basically, you can just kind of add any kind of AoE HP burn champion after this, like Mordecai. Mordecai is a good epic shout, so you can use him. So yeah, so those are like your HP burn options. It's basically just to help do some extra damage and to help negate the poison cloud if the poison cloud ever lands. So if you don't have block buffs, you need an HP burner to basically negate the poison cloud effect. So that's the hard part of making a team for Hydra, is because you need to have some of these elements to have a shot at dealing with these different heads. Yeah. So for the head of mischief, there's not really too many ways to deal with head of mischief outside of just blocking the buffs that it steals. You can build certain champions in resistance, like I've already said. For example, Skull Lord places a buff on itself, so it has an extra buff relative to the rest of the team. And then if you build Skull Lord with extra resistance, then the mischief will target the champion with the most buffs, which will be Skull Lord. And since it has tons of resistance, it won't get the buff stolen. And then basically you neutralize the head of mischief that way. The other way is to use block buffs, let them steal your buffs, but then the head of mischief won't be able to benefit off the buffs. And then if you have a hex champion, I should have put Tila here as well, but basically Mithrala and Tila are basically the only champions that are good enough to use in Hydra um, consistently that have hex. You can use other champions, but I find not super great results, mainly because the champions with them are kind of squishy, like Ruel, Thylesia, and the other one Mithralix or something, or uh, Marinex. Yeah, the base stats on those champions are pretty low, so you can use them in like normal and hard, but you're not gonna be able to keep them alive in the higher difficulties. Yeah, so this is not an exhaustive list. Basically, just give you guys some ideas. Maybe you guys see something that's in your vault and you guys never thought about it. So hopefully it helps you guys. As always, like top damage dealers for any Hydra content would be the max HP champions, Acrizia, uh, Husk, Rollguard, Geomancer, which is the HP burn, and his busted passive. And then in the lower difficulties, normal, hard, you're going to go with HP burn, such as Ninja, and your basically super nukers like Trunda, for example. Just an example. But you can use basically any kind of like powerful AoE nuker, and then you can do pretty good damage in normal hard Hydra. Um, yeah, so those are just some ideas there. Obviously not exhaustive. And then I just provide some stats here for you guys to go over. So these just show, this is not the recommended accuracy or resistance. This is just the accuracy and resistance of each head. So what you want to aim for, you probably want to aim for 100 more resistance than they have accuracy if you want to build resistance. So for example, if you want to resist the head of mischief, you want to have 450 accuracy minimum to have approximately a 90% chance of resisting the head of mischief. So that's kind of how it works. That's just a general, there's obviously very specific math, but the way that I look at it is the general ballpark is if you put 100 more resistance on top of accuracy, you have roughly a 90% chance of resisting that champion's ability. So if you want to build a mischief tank for Nightmare, you need 450 resistance to resist the mischief. Just a ballpark. So I mentioned that the Head of Suffering does add additional resistance to all the heads. So 50 more resistance to all the heads. Therefore, your accuracy needs to be higher. So if we look at Nightmare again, if we look at, let's say we take Mischief again, 255 base resistance. If you add Head of Sufferings plus 50, now it has 305 base resistance. What you are looking for is you are looking to match that in terms of accuracy. So if the resistance is 305, if you have 305 accuracy versus 305 resistance, you roughly have about 90% chance to land your debuff. So that's kind of like what you're looking for in terms of accuracy. But these are very generalizations of the stats. It's more specific than that if you look at the math. I'll leave a link to the chart that shows the actual curve of how accuracy and resistance work with each other if you guys are interested. But I'm just giving you a general tip just to remember. So these are just some things that maybe will be helpful to you guys. I hope that this quick cheat sheet is very helpful. Best of luck with your Hydra content this week and this month. I mean, it seems like an overall probably an easier lineup than having Wrath in the lineup because Wrath can do crazy things that like one shot your team out of nowhere. Whereas this team is you're probably not looking too bad. You're not going to get in that bad of a spot. The extra stats that you need to properly deal with the Head of Suffering and the rest of the Hydras is a little bit concerning if your gear is on the edge of the limits. So keep that in mind. Maybe swap like an aura for an accuracy aura. That can help. So just some quick tips. Hope it helps. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. If you guys like the content, make sure you guys like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it very much. And see you guys next time. Bye bye.